Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we have a really cool knife review in my opinion. This is the Sarge Knives 824. Really interesting knife that you may not have heard about. And it's a knife that I thought was very interesting. So let's go ahead and start off with our blade length measurements. We're coming in here at basically 3¼ inches on the dot. Very, very nice. Let's go ahead and get our size comparisons out of the way. Let's start off, as always, with the Rat 1 and the Rat 2. There we go. As you can see, it's kind of right between those two. Next up, let's bring out our Civivis. The Praxis and the Elementum. Again, not a large knife, but also not a super small knife. This is definitely what I would consider to be a medium-sized knife. So Benjamin Bug Out, another knife that I think is kind of the typesetter for the medium-sized knife, and the Para 2. Nice, nice. Typesetter is not the word I was looking for. The indicator size for the medium-sized knives. See, I'm thinking in terms of geology. You know, I have indicator minerals for different, like, metamorphic settings and stuff like that. But was indicator or size comparison? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, next let's compare against. This is another Sarge knife that's pretty much the same size as the 823. Yeah, this is the 824 and the 823. And then let's compare it against this kind of goofy knife. This is the Schrade Ultra Glide. Crap, this thing is a tank. The 306. There we go. So knives are kind of in the same class as far as size and also materials too. These all have aluminum handles, and yeah. So let's put that away. What are we looking at here in terms of materials? So we have a drop point blade of 440C. That's what it says here. If it'll focus, with a satin finish. 440C. Now, when I did the unboxing for this, a lot of people were telling me that this wasn't real 440C. And I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to Lee at Love Them Knives and maybe we can work to get some Sarge knives tested. But I see no reason to doubt that it's 440C. So take that with a grain of salt. Aluminum scales, steel liners, steel pocket clip. We have a button lock. This knife is running on bearings. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. For now, let's go and see how this guy performs. Because, yeah. Anyways, let's go over there. Okay. Whoops. Sarge 824. Let's talk about this knife. How are the ergos? Actually very comfortable. The ergos on this knife, I mean, they definitely want you to put your hand right here, but that's kind of the only place to put it. So, you know what? Works really well. Very comfortable in hand. I mean, having the clip tip down helps it not be a problem in the hand. So, you know what? Very comfortable. It's pretty smooth because it's aluminum, but very comfortable otherwise. How's the action? Need I say more? It's a fantastic action. Fantastic. How's she carry? Well, tip down, which in my opinion is not good, especially with how light this flipper is. So like for me, when I'm carrying it like this, that flipper is against the back of my pocket. If something bumps that, you know, if something hits that flipper tab, that knife could come open in my pocket. The clip is very tight. Goes in really well. Retraction is a little bit difficult. I'm not a big fan of this clip. I really wish they'd come up with a different clip and mount it this way. I know why they mounted it here, but I really wish they had a clip this way. So carry, not the best. In fact, I would give this a D on carry. Okay, let's go and do some cutting. The blade is 440A. A lot of people on the unboxing for this knife are saying, "Oh, that's not real 440A." I don't know. That doesn't seem like a steel they would lie about to me, but okay. I'm gonna call it 440A anyways. I did lay this edge back quite a bit, if you can see that, because this knife is not very sharp from the factory, and it's like 28 thousandths behind the edge. So we'll see what we come up with. All right, we'll see what we come up with here. So we're just gonna cut this little piece of cardboard to see the sliciness. A lot better now the edge has been laid back. Still not amazing, but definitely a lot better than it was. I think that's about all we need to do there. Now let's grab the rope. See how he gets through this. Pretty well, actually. That wasn't bad at all. Again, my edge, but that wasn't bad. Okay. Let's get down here. Let's push down. So when we're pushing down with this test, all I'm doing is pushing down the rope and seeing how many strands I can get through. This is very tough rope, and it's also pretty cheap rope, but let's see here. Okay, so we're getting through about 1.5 strands. That one got through almost all of them, and that one got pretty close. So, not amazing, but actually pretty close to average. Okay, let's cut some pool noodle slices. Oof. I can feel the thickness behind the edge there, but you know what? It did all right. So there we go. Definitely not a champion performer, but you know what? It's not bad. It's not terrible at all. Let's get back to the table. Alrighty. Let's talk the Sarge SK-824. What am I liking? Well, let's start off with the overall design. I think this is a pretty good looking knife. Like the strop point blade, we have a little bit of a swedge up there. It's a good looking blade. I love blue. You guys know me. This blue aluminum looks very, very nice. Big fan of that. So yeah, I think it's a good looking knife. Next thing I like are the ergos. Oh my gosh, this knife is very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. These grooves here, yes, it's forcing you into a certain grip. But at least my hand fits this perfectly. And this knife is honestly one of the most comfortable knives I've ever felt. I am not joking. The aluminum's a little slick, but with those finger choils, I feel locked in. I feel comfortable. It's a very nice knife. Part of that is because the clip basically just disappears in my hand. And the clip has other issues that we'll talk about, but in the hand, oh yeah, I can't even feel it. Very, very nice. So, big fan of that. Next thing I like, we gotta mention it. The action is just out of this world. And right now I'm at a little bit of a behind the camera disadvantage, but oh man. This has an insanely good action, stupidly good action. It's ridiculous. Look, I've told the story about this knife. This past summer, I don't even know when this video will come out. I'm filming this in November. Anyways, this past summer, just happened to be walking around a grocery store in a small town near the ranch, and they have a little bit of a hardware store in the back. You know, small town, rural America grocery stores. And so I went back there, and they have a little knife display, and they have Sarge knives, and I'd seen them before, but really, I bought one time and give it to one of my little brothers, but I was there this time, and this knife caught my eye immediately, and I was like, is that a button lock? So I went, and I said, I would like to take a look at that knife. The lady behind the counter said, oh, okay. She went, she got me one, brought it out, put it on the counter. I did that. I said, yes, I will take this. Bagged it up, and I went. It cost $30. Yeah, that's a good price. And I will say you can actually find these online for even a little bit less than that. Yeah. No problems with that. And, I mean, the knife itself just feels solid. Blade play. No. None right there. Yeah, this knife is solid. So solid. And that impresses me to no end. It really does. So there's the good stuff. Amazing action. Great ergos. It looks really, really nice in my opinion. And it's just built very solidly. Like that a lot. Okay, let's go into the negatives, because unfortunately there are some negatives. The first thing we're going to start with is this pocket clip. This is a terrible clip. Yes, it's tipped down. I think that's terrible on this knife because, you know, if you're carrying this in your right hand pocket, the flipper tab's going to be up against the seam of your pocket, so if you bump into anything, it might pop that blade out. You know, that's definitely not something that I would like to happen to me. I do know why they mounted it like this. If this was the clip they're using, there's really not enough room to put it down here and still keep it somewhat deep carry. My advice to Sarge would just be use a different pocket clip and mount the other way. They do have certain knives that they mount tip up. I'd like to see them move this knife to a tip up mount. Next thing with the pocket clip, it's just not a very good clip. As you can see, it's very, very narrow between the scale and the clip. It's a very tight clip. Like, oh my gosh, it's tight. So it does not work very good in and out of the pockets. Your pocket gets caught on these screws up here. Just not my favorite clip in the whole world. So, yeah. Next thing, the blade. The blade has some issues. The grind, it's a hollow grind, but it's very, very thick behind the edge. As you can see here, the sharpening choil, let's get in close there. Terrible sharpening choil. I have actually sharpened this. This knife probably does need another sharpening. In fact, that edge is looking pretty bad. But as you can see, right here, I did try and lay the edge back a little bit. And when they sharpened it from the factory, they actually sharpened up the plunge. We're getting a smile there. You can see it better on this side. We're getting a smile there. So that's going to need to be fixed one day. Again, very thick behind the edge. Very robust tip, which I guess is good, but very, very thick behind the edge. There we go. And next thing, there's just a lot of markings on this knife. It says Sarge. Sarge. And yeah, this satin finish is so annoying. Like, blech. Like, it looks good off camera, but like on camera, for some reason, it's picking up light in all kinds of weird ways. And I'm just not a big fan of satin finishes anyways, but pretty fingerprinty. But yeah, wish the branding would get toned down just a little bit. And yeah, there we go. Next thing, the pivot is free spinning, so you're going to need to take you have to take the pocket clip off and use two different tools to adjust the pivot. Not something I like. I have not disassembled this knife. I don't know how well it would disassemble, but yeah. So there's all the negatives. So this is a pretty quick review. What are my final conclusions? I like this knife a lot. Look, it's not something that's going to become a regular EDC for me. However, this has become one of my favorite fidget knives. I guess one thing I could point out in the negatives is a little bit of lock stick, but it's not bad. And also it's not uncommon for button locks to have lock stick. Oh, also, I can't believe I forgot. Centering is not good. It's not rubbing on the other side, but it is clearly not centered. It needs to be over that way just a little bit. So there we go. Back to final conclusions. I do like this knife. It's very comfortable. The action is just stupidly good for the price that you're paying. Stupidly good. This is miraculous, honestly. I'm kind of struggling to find words. It's just so nice. The flipper tab, they don't have any jimping in it or anything, but still works. Light switch, or push button. It works just fine. Here's my look. Should you buy this knife? If you're like me and you just like finding weird knives, yes, absolutely. I love looking for just weird random knives. So yes, absolutely. Go check this out. If you're looking for a good EDC tool, I would pass on this. The blade grind is just a little too thick, and the pocket clip is very annoying. I don't like the tip down carry. But some advice for Sarge knives. Look, I have seen that you guys can do good fit and finish. In fact, I'm going to be reviewing this knife here in a little bit. This knife is built really, really well. Here's my advice to you. Find a different pocket clip, make this a tip-up carry. Fix the blade grind. Make that a little bit smoother. And I guess just, up your QC, make sure they're all centered and everything. If you can do that and still keep this knife at the $30 price point, this is absolutely fantastic. I enjoy this knife a lot. It's not going to be for everyone. I'm not saying that this is going to be, your next EDC. And this isn't even going to be my budget knife of the year or anything. But look at the button there. It looks kind of cool. Anyways, it's a really fun knife, and I want to see more from Sarge knives. I really do. So, I mean, it's got issues. It does. But again, $30 and that is absolutely fantastic. I wish I had a Malibu to compare this against, but yeah. Great knife for what it is. Great novelty knife, I guess is what I'm going to say. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up the review right there. There's not much else I can say. Just, this is one of those knives that kind of came out of nowhere and surprised me. And I like weird knives. I like looking for obscure things. And this is definitely that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.